Stop letting outdoor personalities tell you to not hunt early season mornings. Guys, we need to understand that when we watch these outdoor channel TV shows, these YouTube TV shows of guys who are and there's no issue with this. I'm gonna state that first, but they hunt these multi-million-dollar farms and things that you can't relate to. They're in a different scenario than you. Chances are you probably shouldn't hunt a food plot in the morning. Maybe. So what I mean is we probably shouldn't be hunting on destination food sources in the morning, but there are other places that we can be hunting in the morning. Let's say we have a little kill plot on our way back to a bedding area. That deer are not making it to, they're not past that point and already back in the bedding at that point. That's an area in which I would think about hunting early season mornings. Another spot that I really think that there could be a lot of strategy brought into the situation or in a given situation, it would be hunting closer to bedding areas, okay? So here's the thing. I don't just recommend on any property we go hunt to hunt. Let's go in if we want to kill big deer, if we want to kill target deer. We need to have strategy. We need to have a game plan to ultimately get in there and kill that deer. So I wouldn't just recommend going and hunting mornings just because you like hunting mornings, unless you want to, and that's how you hunt. That's fine too. But anyway, when it comes to early season mornings, where should you be hunting? I like to hunt close to these bedding areas. And why is that? Most people will say a lot of those deer are back in their beds before the sun ever comes up. Think about that. Question that for a second. How do we know that? How do we truly know that those deer are back in there and they're not getting up at 9 o'clock in the morning and browsing around on acorns in that given general area, bedding area? We don't know that for sure. So until you know that, feel free to climb into those bedding areas, find out where those bedding areas are, first of all, find out where those buck beds are, maybe where the condensed sign is, a lot of rubs and stuff like that, and be aware of those locations. Here's the thing, guys. There is no one given scenario that anybody talks about online, YouTube, TV, that you should just always be following. You have to look at your own given scenario, look at the predominant winds, which way they're coming out of, so that you can get back to these locations. What would the morning thermals be doing in these given locations when you go in to hunt them? And if you can add a lot of those variables up and say, hey, I think I can do this early morning hunt because I have good access into this area, I'm not going to blow out the field on my way to it in which the deer are spending the time in the dark, then maybe you should probably go in there and actually hunt that given location. So I'm thinking about a location that we hunted on this hunting trip. The bedding was off to the east. We had a blind in the central portion that was super easy to get to from an access road, probably only 40 yards off the road, and it was on the way back to the bedding. Well, in that given case, those deer probably were feeding about 200 yards away, and by about 7:30 to 8 o'clock in the morning, those deer were meandering back. So those deer were not in their beds like all these quote-unquote experts and TV personalities would say. They were still moving back to the bedding. And in fact, if I would have sat in that bedding, those deer probably wouldn't have got to that location until 9 o'clock in the morning on an early season hunt. So what does that tell me? Not all of these deer are back in their beds by daylight. So here's the thing, guys. Look at your given scenario. Decide whether or not you can get in there strategically without blowing a lot of the deer out. And if you can, don't be afraid to hunt early season mornings.